What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Ray Talks Hoop. Today, we're going to be talking about a couple different games. Now, I normally just talk about one team per video, but I thought we'd go ahead and try something new. So make sure to let me know down below if you guys prefer this new format or if I should just talk about one team per video like I've done in the past. There's going to be a timestamp right over here with every single game that I'm talking about. So if you're just here for one or two games, feel free to skip ahead. Now, let's go ahead and start off with the Philadelphia 76ers and the Houston Rockets. So the Sixers beat the Rockets by 5 points last night. And you know what? A win is a win. Congrats to the Philadelphia 76ers. But in reality, this game should not have been that close of a game. The Sixers are the first seed in the East, and the Houston Rockets, they're not a bad team by any means, but they did not have Wood, Tucker, or Oladipo last night. So if you're the Philadelphia 76ers and you are the number one seed in your conference, there is absolutely no way the 13th seeded Houston Rockets should only be losing to you guys by 5 points, especially when they don't have three of their key players. Now, if I'm a Sixers fan, which I'm not really too worried about this. You're not going to have your best game each and every night. So it's just a one-time thing. I wouldn't really be sweating it. But I will say, before James Harden got traded from the Rockets, I said that if he commits to that team 100%, I really do think the Rockets could be a good team, and yesterday was proof of that. Sure, the Sixers may not have had their best game, but with John Wall and James Harden and a couple of the other guys they have on that team as well, that team could have definitely made it deep in the playoffs if it all worked out. But whatever, James Harden is a lot happier now in Brooklyn, so good for him. Now moving on to the Atlanta Hawks versus the Boston Celtics. So I'm a Laker fan. Anytime the Celtics lose, it is a fabulous day for me. No, I'm kidding. Well, kind of. But yesterday, the Atlanta Hawks beat the Celtics by 8 points. Trae Young had 40 and 8. Almost as good as my career high. Jason Tatum had 35, 6, and 6. And something I really liked about this matchup is a lot of the guys on these teams are going to be very good players in the NBA. Don't get me wrong, they are already very good players, but I just mean they're going to have very good careers, they're going to win championships, they're probably going to be Hall of Famers, and I'm happy to be able to see them play at a young age while they're still developing. These guys are putting up crazy numbers pretty much every single night, and none of them have even entered their prime. Trae Young, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all these guys on these teams, they are still young players with a lot of developing to do. So the fact that they are still putting up crazy numbers and they are 5 years away from entering their prime, I'm amazed to be able to see what I'm seeing. So good for them, and I'm excited to see how their careers play out. Now, talking about players who are going to have good careers and win championships, let's go ahead and talk about the Washington Wizards with Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook. Two players who I definitely want to see win a ring sometime before they retire. Now, at the start of the season, the Washington Wizards lost the first 5 games in a row. They must have been taking lessons from the Clippers in last year's playoffs. But fortunately for them, they've won their last 3 games in a row, and it's starting to look like they're beginning to figure it out. Russell Westbrook put up another triple-double, and with how many triple-doubles Russell Westbrook has had in his career, when I look at the type of triple-double that he had last night, which was 12, 12, and 13, I'm actually more amazed at the fact that the triple-double wasn't at least a 20-point triple-double, because that is just the greatness that I am used to seeing from Russell Westbrook at this time. Colin Cowherd is probably gonna shit himself listening to me praise Russell Westbrook. But the fact of the matter is, this dude is a star, he's getting paid millions of dollars, and he's out here doing his thing, so good for Russell Westbrook. I'm glad that the team has been able to win their last couple of games, and a lot of that, of course, has to do with Bradley Beal. He is currently the leading scorer in the NBA. Yesterday, he put up 25 and 10. So seriously, I'm happy to see the Wizards starting to figure it out, because I was starting to feel a little bit bad for them when they lost the first 5 games of the season. And then the final game I want to talk about is the Golden State Warriors versus the Miami Heat. The Warriors beat the Heat by 8 last night in overtime, and the fact of the matter is, if Klay Thompson wasn't going to be out for the majority of the year, most likely the entire year, this team would definitely be a contending team. I know a lot of people had their doubts on Steph Curry's return, but I think we can all agree that Steph Curry has silenced all the doubt. He is definitely in the conversation for MVP this year, which is for sure an accomplishment in and of itself, given that he's coming back from an injury and he doesn't have his running mate in Klay Thompson. Last night, Steph Curry had 25 points and 11 assists, and that is without Draymond Green and James Wiseman. Now, I know a lot of people might not think Draymond Green is that good of a basketball player, but I beg to differ. This guy does a lot more for the Warriors than what you see on the stat sheets. And James Wiseman is someone who I am a huge believer of. One of the first YouTube videos I ever made was actually on James Wiseman, and I was talking about why I think he's going to be a very good basketball player, and this was maybe 4 or 5 months before he was even drafted. And then Kent Bazemore really stepped it up for the Warriors as well. He put up 26 and 8, and him and Curry really made sure the team could get the win down in overtime. Now, this really makes me want to talk about the Miami Heat, because last year I saw them making it to the second or third round of the playoffs, but I definitely did not see them making it to the finals, let alone winning 2 games. And right now, the way that the Miami Heat are playing, I really don't even know how they made it to the finals last year. And I don't even mean any sort of disrespect by that. Obviously, these guys are phenomenal basketball players. They are some of the best athletes in the entire world. But just looking at their record and knowing that the team they have now is pretty much the same team they had last year, I just don't understand how they were able to make it so far into the playoffs, yet this year, they don't even look like that good of a basketball team. And I really do mean that respectfully. I don't have anything against the Miami Heat, but it's the facts and it is what it is. Now, I want to give a huge shout out to one of my biggest supporters, Bish Turnbull. He's been asking me for a shout out for the last couple of weeks, and I'm just a forgetful dude. I forget to shout him out in my videos, but I didn't forget this time, so thank you very much for supporting me and my channel. Also, I just started a second channel where I interviewed the top ranked high school basketball players. These are the guys that are going to be the future of the NBA. If you want to go ahead and check that out, it's going to be the first link at the top of the description. I plan on posting the first video once we get to 100 subscribers, which is hopefully sometime within the next week or so. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you have not done so already. Hit that subscribe button if you want to stay in the loop on everything going on in the NBA, especially from a relatively unbiased Laker fan. I know there's only a few of us out there that are still unbiased, but I try my best. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I am out of here.